In today's video, let's take a look back at the month of January. Hello, fellow geeks, and welcome back to Running Geek Girl. My name is Heather, and I am glad you are here today. It's time where we take a look at the month that has just gone past. We take a look at how training has gone, what's coming up next on the calendar, what's coming up next on the channel. Have I tried anything new? Were any races run? We'll just take a look at everything that has happened in the past 30 days. And as usual, we're going to end everything with our monthly Spotify playlist drop. So we're going to start things out like we always do with a look at the month in training. Happy New Year! We are in our first full week of January and we are starting a new training block. So my coach has me working on a little bit more speed. So this week is going to be, while I can still get outside, some fartlek runs and then some easy runs. And of course, we're going to look at some strength and conditioning. I say while I can still get outside because we are due to get some snow. And the way snow does with the roads here, there will be no way for me to get outdoors. So I'll focus a little more on strength and conditioning on those days so I can get some sort of workout in. But that is where we are right now. We are starting fresh. It's 2025. We are getting ready for relay in October and some 5Ks and 10Ks along the way. Hopefully some half marathons somewhere in there. But that is where we are for right now. We are looking at probably a 1 hour long run at the end of the week. Nothing crazy, but we're gonna see how we're doing. Also possibly joining a gym to make absolutely sure that I keep up with strength training and conditioning and making sure that I have access to a really good treadmill. So that is the dealio for this week. I'll catch up with you after the long run. Okay, well, this is normally where I would be running, but instead I am sitting here at my desk trying to get a little bit of schoolwork done because I have got to leave town for a week. So I am not gonna have a chance to really run this week. My time is already spoken for. So I'm gonna see what I can do as far as maybe getting a walk in, maybe get at least one run in, still stick with my shakedowns and my stretching. So I've still got that going on, but looks like training is going to have to hold off for another week, which we roll with the punches. We got plenty of time between now and relay in October, so I'm not that worried about it. But yeah, everything now is just going to get moved a week. So that's the plan for now. Life happens and we roll with it. So I will see you when I get back into town. Okay, so we're back for another week, and this week we are going to do all the runs that we were going to do last week. What I did was have my coach move everything from last week over to this week and extend all of my training by a week because I got plenty of time between now and October. So it's going to be easy runs interspersed with some fartleks, and we are going to do the best we can because we have this polar freeze going on. So we're going to either be doing treadmill runs or waiting like I'm doing today until really late in the afternoon where it gets just above freezing, bundling up and doing the best we can. But it's looking like it's mostly going to be treadmill runs this week. So no big deal. Get caught up on some podcasts like I always do. And we're just going to focus on easing back into the training as best we can, getting our speed workouts in, and just focusing on getting restarted since we weren't able to do any running last week. Life happens. That's just the way it is, and we're going to roll with it. So looking at an hour and a half long run at the end of the week, and I think that's about it. So I will catch up with you after that. Here we are for the last full week of January, and I feel like I am struggling to keep everything together. I managed to make it through all of last week's training. I actually was pretty happy with how it went. I pushed myself a little further than I have been in the past month or so and ended up doing an hour and a half long run, nice and easy. And I'm starting to see some paces that are close to what I'm going to be needing later on in the year. So I'm kind of thinking ahead to some other potential races, but don't want to put the cart before the horse. All I'm doing right now is just concentrating on getting through this next week, in which I am also going to be pressed for time because there's pretty much from Friday on until like Sunday night, I'm going to be spoken for. My schedule is full and I have no time to get in a long run or any training on those days. So I'm just gonna have to cross my fingers and hope for the best and then move on to another week of training. So that's where I am right now. This week we are doing a little bit more of the same easy runs and then a couple of days worth of some fartleks, some speed work, and then I guess no long run this weekend, but we're gonna hope and pray that we can get things together in February. I am trying to balance life and school and running, and it's just difficult right now. But I'll talk a little bit more about that in a few minutes. So let's take it back to me indoors. And so here we are. And as you can tell by my incredibly put together appearance here, I have just come in from a run because lately it has become about just fitting it in where I can. Now, looking at the last month, to say that things kind of went off the rails is a little bit of an understatement. There was a period of time where things were just super busy. I was not able to run, and as I was trying to get back into it, then I ended up having to take a trip out of state for a full week, and I did not have any opportunity to really run that entire week that I was gone. And then just this last weekend, I was booked solid for the whole weekend. Again, zero chance to run, so it has been a real challenge trying to get everything together. Thankfully, my coach has been working with me online. That is my coach through Vert.run. This is not sponsored in any way by them or anything. It's just a service that I use. I get along really well with my coach. He's really good at making sure I stay consistent and giving me the training plans that I need for what is coming up on my calendar. And so he's been really good about helping me adjust everything, figure out where I can cut back, where I can fit things in, and occasionally having me repeat a week of training if I've had to, for instance, take that entire week off. He slips that back into the schedule so that I can still get that week of training in, because the truth is I've actually got a ton of time to train between now and relay in October, so I'm not too worried about it. I don't have any major races coming up between now and then, at least nothing huge on the calendar, so I am mostly just focused on, can I get myself back into some fairly decent half marathon shape? Because I think if I do get back into half marathon shape, I'm going to be ready for relay. Looking at how training needs to go for that, it looks like the way things are right now, I'm going to have to cover at least 20 miles or so of the relay by myself. That's all going to be broken up over the course of 24 hours. There are different lengths of legs that I'm going to have to run. So, just making sure that I can maintain the pace that I need and then rest and then get right back into that pace. So that's kind of where we're headed right now. I admit that I started out the month being pretty good about cross training, strength and conditioning. And just because things have gotten so busy, I've had to do some traveling and some work away from home. I've kind of fallen out of that. So that is going to be the main goal going into February, is getting back into strength and conditioning. And again, I'm thinking if I join a gym, I think if I'm paying money for it, then I'm going to be a lot more motivated to actually get it done, because I don't want that money to go to waste. So that's kind of what I'm thinking as far as how training is going to go over the next month. That leads us into races and medals. Obviously, nothing over the last month. I have been hella busy, and it's just about keeping my head above water at this point. Grad school is, I may have found a class that is my Achilles heel. Don't worry, I am passing the class just fine with an A, but I am really having to strain my brain to get through it. So I'm really kind of focused on classes and then just trying to maintain some sort of consistency. So racing is not really fitting into the calendar right now. I did have an invitation to do a race in March. Unfortunately, it's happening over a weekend when I know I'm going to be traveling again. So that's probably not going to happen. But I am flattered to be asked. That is fantastic. So no new races or medals to report, but let's look ahead into our next section, which is going to be our race calendar. Now, as I mentioned in the last video, my big race for the year is going to be the Ragnar Relay. That is the Bourbon Chase. That's the one that's happening in Kentucky. There is a group of us. We are not fielding a full team, so that means that there's going to be some extra legs that we're going to have to run. We'll each have to run in a standard Ragnar team. You run 3 legs. Obviously, with not a full team, we'll have to run 4 legs, and some of us who have volunteered to run extra are going to be most likely running 5 legs over the course of the race. So it's all just about making sure that we can maintain pace and making sure that we can handle hills. If you know anything about Kentucky, it is beautiful, beautiful course. Very, very hilly. And even they will admit that this is a hard course. So we have to make sure that we are able to maintain pace, that we're able to handle our hills. So that's kind of where we are focused right now. But other than that, that is the big one that is on the calendar. Looking at some other possibilities for the calendar. As usual, I'm probably going to be doing the Dr. Robert Elliott Foundation 5K that I do here in town every single year. That is one that I feel really strongly about the cause, and so that's one that I'm going to be looking forward to. And I am thinking that I'm going to go ahead and start planning on running the Sunset 24 relay again. We're going to try it again. I'm not going to let this race beat me. I'm going to go for the full 24. I have got to figure out a way to get this done. I don't care how many miles I rack up over this thing. I could do 3 miles over the course of the thing, but I am going to last that full 24 hours if it kills me. Every year something happens where I'm just not able to finish the full 24. First year, if you'll watch that video, you'll remember that I caught a cold. I was still running while I was sick. I was burning up with fever while I was running. I was delirious by the end of it, so I had to drop I think about 20 hours or so into the race. Last year, if you watch that video, you'll see that my hip seized up on me and I was not able to actually move my leg for a while. And so that really cut back on what I was able to do. I ended up having to drop after doing about 25 miles. So I'm not going to let this beat me. I have got to get back into it, get back on the horse. So we're looking at doing that later on in the year. So we're going to go ahead and add that to the race calendar. And I still want to add to my 50 states list. So if you can think of a race that is coming up that I really, really got to see, then especially around a half marathon, I'm loving the half marathon distance. So let me know about it down in the comments below. As far as new stuff, new gear, equipment, stuff like that, there is a shoe that I have been testing out, but I'm part of a test group for a particular shoe company, so I'm not allowed to talk about how the test is going right now. Hopefully once they actually do release the shoe, I can give my thoughts on it, but I have been trying out some new shoes. It's been working out really well for me, and so I have some new ideas for when I'm ready to switch to a different shoe. So that's been really helpful. And also new stuff, not just for me, but for you too. In case you missed the announcement, there are stickers that you can get for the Running Geek Girl channel. There's a few of them that are here on my water bottle, such as Fight Lodration, make sure that you stay hydrated, don't get low rated. There's also the Running Geek Girl channel logo and a couple more that seem to be selling well. We have the Run Like a Geek, and we also have from my first 50K video, I'm listening to the sound of my own suffering. So if you're interested in getting any of those, they come in a lot of different styles. There's some iridescent ones, glossy ones. There are a couple of designs that are also available as a coffee mug. So if you're interested in any of those, there's going to be a link down in the description so you can check everything out for yourself. Next, what is coming up on the channel? Again, I'm having to cut back because I'm really focused on grad school right now, but I am continuing to make some videos, so expect some training videos so you can take a look at how I am training for the relay in October. There's also going to be another Run the USA video where we're taking a look at races in the state of Vermont. So if you know of any races that you have run in the state of Vermont that I should know about, drop those down in the comments below. And finally, we are going to have our usual monthly Spotify playlist drop. If you are looking for some music to listen to while you go for a short run or a walk, or maybe you're running a 5K, then you have somewhere to get started. And every month, everything revolves around a different theme. We're also going to have a list to all of the tracks that have been chosen for monthly playlists for the year so far in 2025. And there's also going to be a third link to Welcome to the Geek Den. This is a running playlist that is put together from all of your suggestions. So if you have anything that you would like to see on that list, make sure you drop those down in the comments below. Well, there you go. That is a quick wrap up for the month of January. As you can see, not a whole lot happened, but so much other stuff around me is happening. So I'm trying to keep things going. I'm trying to stay consistent. It's been a hectic month. There's been a whole lot going on, but I am still in the game. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Just click that button down below. It does cost you a thing, and it keeps you up to date on all the stuff that I have going on all the time. You can also follow me on social media. All the links are down in the description. You can find me across all platforms under the name Running Geek Girl. Thanks so much for joining me for another month. I'm so glad you could be here. Remember to laugh hard, run fast, and be kind. I'll see you later.